Hey folks, welcome back to another HP Gaming GameLINK video. We've got another unboxing for you today, and it's going to be a big one. We're going to be journeying into the far-flung reaches of space and trying to do everything we possibly can to survive as we unbox the core pledge of the reprint of Awaken Realms, Nemesis. Hey folks, welcome back. If you are just joining us for the first time, thank you very much. If you are a long-time viewer, we love your work. Thank you very much for joining us. For those of you who don't know me, however, my name is Matt, and you should know me by now. If you are a long-time viewer of the channel, once again, thank you. We are talking all things Nemesis today. With lockdown on the imminent horizon, I thought we'd go back to brass tacks. I decided to, at the time of 2018, I decided to kickstart a game or back a game on Kickstarter. That was almost a light version of this one. I'm talking about a game called Lifeform, which is a fantastic experience, and you get to play as the alien as well, which is really, really brilliant. Very much an alien film experience in a board game. And then when Nemesis came back around for a second look, as lockdown, as I said, is very much, not lockdown as in lockdowns with coronavirus. I'm talking about Lockdown, a game by Awaken Realms, the standalone sequel to Nemesis. I couldn't wait to get involved and get in on the core pledge. Now, this is a Nemesis unboxing, and I do mean unboxing because it's a huge box. So in here we have a Nemesis core pledge, and there's a few other goodies as well. I can't remember exactly what we put our hands up for, but we're going to get into the box. We're going to show you what it's all about. There is a lot of packaging peanuts in here as well. What we might do, I'm going to open the box. You can see the box is already undone, and I'll show you the different boxes that are inside, and then we'll get in close and show you a bit more detail about what's inside. This is not any lockdown content. It's more so just to talk through what is a great gameplay experience that's more aliens rather than alien, if that makes sense. Anyway, inside this amazingly awesome, huge mega box is a lot of stuff. And we're talking about, of course, where are we? Here we go. I'm going to get this bad boy out. We've got this one. And then we've got what looks like another big bundle of goodies there. And it looks like there's a dice tray in there too. And then we've got a whole lot of peanuts in there. Let's have a look. Let's put this one to the side for now. Oh my gosh, some of these boxes are actually really heavy, which I love. So in this one, this is Nemesis, the core box. This is a reprint, very hard to come by, including in retail. Plastic, of course, goes on the floor. It says Nemesis there. We've also got, as I said, these fellows over here, and I'm super pumped to get inside them and show you what's what. Okay, so in here we have the critically acclaimed, according to me, Aftermath expansion. I'm going to get rid of some boxes here before we clear it all up. And then I've got the Void Seeders as well. Then we have a Terrain expansion. And then we have a Medic expansion as well. I'll pop her down there. If I can get them to stand up, oh my gosh. We've got what looks like some extra cards and another little tube, which I think is the dice tray. My goodness, there is a lot of stuff to get through. Let's jump straight into it. I'm going to move some stuff out of the side. We'll get into the core box. We'll go from there. Very excited to show you what's inside these suckers. Oh. And there it is. This is the core box for Nemesis, Awaken Realms, Rebel. It has been out for a while, so I'm not going to go over anything new. It's just something that I've always obviously been intrigued by. And after backing Lifeform, when this came up for a second look, I couldn't pass it up. So we're going to get into the guts of it here. The artwork gives you an idea of what sort of experience we're looking for here. Aliens versus humans on a spaceship. I do like the idea of the trader mechanic. Look how massive this box is. There is just so much going on here. I'm hoping that I'm just going to be very careful here because I don't really want to damage the actual box itself. And there is a lot of plastic, and for obvious reasons, we haven't got Charlotte with us to unbox this one. I'm worried that I will give her nightmares, as much of a stalwart as she is for games and gaming in general. And of course, the plastic always goes on the floor. Now, I am going to keep on barreling through here because we have a lot to get through and I have a limited day to shoot with. Oh my goodness, that box opening is fantastic. I love that. And we've got obviously a few boxes to get through as well. Here is the game manual for Nemesis. There is a lot of detail. It's incredibly thick. Having played Nemesis in some respects, yeah, I do like that it's nice and big print, which will give you an idea of the different play modes. Obviously solo. You can play as an intruder, which I love as well. Rules combat. Basic room details, so all the different rooms aboard the Nemesis spacecraft and what they do, how much energy they cost. And then you've got a room sheet for, there's 2 of these in the box, which is good if you're playing with a larger player count. Now we have some room tiles. These represent different places on the ship, different tasks. They're quite a good quality chipboard, as you would expect. Now in terms of reprint, I don't know if there's much of a change from the original printing of this game. Obviously there's more content, there's character adjustments slightly in terms of things that have changed over the course of many plays with all the bells and whistles. So you got room tiles there. This is the intruder board. This is where you track different weaknesses, eggs in the nest, and there's a bit of a key for you as well for when intruders come out. Again, high quality chipboard, which is nice and fantastic. You've got tokens galore. There's a nice corpse token for if you should cease to be. You've got eggs, ammunition drops. That's a starting corpse token. And then you've got engine damage. So this engine is working. This one is damaged. Evacuation pod areas, that sort of stuff. And all those rooms, if you haven't played Nemesis, will allow you to make your way around and potentially off the ship as well. And then you've got a room covered in slime. Stay away from that one at all costs. The room tiles have different numbers on them, depending on which number they are on the back, because you do set up the board blind, so you don't ever know which potential room you're going to be revealing as you explore the ship. You wake up with amnesia and there's a corpse in front of you, and then it's off to the races. So these are representing the different alien species that you might come across. Then you've got little damage tokens. These are character boards, and you have your own sort of decks that are character specific. And these little tokens sit on top of the room. So when you reveal the room, you reveal the token. And there could also be a few extra nasty surprises as well. Scientist and pilot, more alien markers. There is a cloth bag, so you'd be drawing your alien tokens blind and not knowing what you're potentially going to be attacked by. And then you've got the escape pods that suit 2 players or 2 space marines, or whatever you want to call them, members of the Nemesis crew, slime tokens, and then more. This is different character alien invader corpse tokens that you can find, so you can actually research alien corpses. Then you've got here what looks like a little display board for, I don't know, that could be, is that a box stand? So you can stand the box up as you play. That's cool. I like that. Take a cool picture of your box. There's a hashtag you can use. Then you've got all the different door tokens. So these doors mark barricades. And then a first player token, which is a cat in space, Jonesy style from the original Alien film, which we love. Now here's the board. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit all of this in here. Let's see. Oh my goodness, I've just seen something else that I forgot about, but we'll come to that in a moment. Now the board is absolutely massive. It is double-sided, so for different difficulties as well. My gosh, I am going to have to get a photo of this because it is just insane. Now I believe this side of the board with the chevrons here is the first or initial easy setup of the board. It is huge. So this is the airlock bay where you start the game and you make your way through all the different rooms to the bridge to try and set the coordinates to whichever planet you're trying to get to. There's a self-destruct track in the bottom corner. You've got the ship round markers as well. And then over on the far side here, you have got some engine bays. So this one here is a different engine for the Nemesis ship. And obviously you got to make sure the engines, at least 2 of those are working, otherwise you will expire, which is, you know, not ideal. Let's fold this one up if we can. My goodness, it is just huge. Absolutely huge board, which we love. And if you look in the box, you'll see some other surprises as well. This is a Sundrop pledge, which means that all the minis have been given that Sundrop treatment, which we know and love so well. Awaken Realms started off as a painting studio, and they've just obviously excelled to excess. I do love this as well, the little Nemesis on the plastic insert. And then you've got a little space for all the character boards and things in there as well, which I love. Storage solutions are plenty. This is a don't eat this silica gel. We'll toss that aside for now. Oh my goodness, we've got all sorts of crazy bells and whistles in here. Whoo, baby. All right, so we've got some noise markers. Now these will dictate which parts of the map, oh, they're very thick, very nice. Which parts of the map you've made, or corridors you've made noise from. Make too much noise and you will have an encounter. And that is something that you just do not want to have. They're nice and thick. They make a great noise on the table. We like that. The tokens in this game are actually very, very good. Let's see what else we've got in here. We've got dice, and then we've got some more tokens, tokens as far as the eyes can see. And we will get to these. Oh my goodness. I'm so pumped for these minis. What a table presence. What a table presence this is going to be. So these are obviously different dice you can have. There's different reactions. These are combat dice, the red ones here, and these are noise dice that you roll when you're trying to resolve a noise check. So you use those. Now, most importantly, as always, they work. I do like that. Nice and easy. Nice and I do like the damage. They're quite gelatinous, I guess, which is cool. And they sort of coincide with the ammunition markers or tokens or cubes as well. We've got some fire tokens, because if you need to place a fire token, oh, they're very cool. If you need to place a fire token and there is no more in your reserve, the ship will explode, taking everyone on board with it, along with all of the intruders as well. So sometimes that's not a bad thing, because that could be part of your win condition, that the aliens need to be destroyed, or the invaders, I should say, need to be destroyed. And I do like the fact that we've gone all in on a core pledge, so that we can have a different alien invader race as well. Oh, these are cool. So these are malfunction tokens. If a room's malfunctioning, one of these gets placed. Again, same rules apply. If you cannot place a malfunction token, the hull of the ship bursts, taking everybody with it, and you will be sucked into a compressed chamber of doom, which is not a pleasant experience, I would imagine. This one here is the contamination card, so you'll be checking to see if you are contaminated or not by putting the card inside the scanner slot. If the infected word is revealed, you are in serious, serious trouble. Let's see, we've got some markers and counters. Now these ones will mark certain things on your player board. It's literally just a little gem to mark where you're at in terms of wounds, wound trackers, turn trackers, round trackers, that sort of stuff. Plastic standees, again, pretty straightforward, but they look like they're a reasonably high quality, and they'll hold all the doors and things in place for you, unless you have a little something, which we'll come to extra later on. Now, that surprises me. The ammo cubes aren't in their own little Ziploc bag, which is a bit unfortunate, because it means they're going to go everywhere when I open them up to show you. That's not ideal. The good thing is I always have extras, so any old Ziploc bag will do the job, and they're basically your standard pandemic cube, which is fine. What I'm going to do though is pop those to the side so they don't run everywhere. Then you've got some player tokens, player coloured markers, so you know which is which. They're a nice little silicone in different colours. Purple, green, blue, and I think that's also denoted by the different rolls that you can have as well as to which colour you've got. Otherwise, who knows? All right, we've talked about those. These are your little inventory slots. So these will be standing facing you. It's got a number on the back because that does have some importance as to which player you are. And then that side will face you, and you can slot your cards in that one so you can keep them face up without having to have them in your hand at all times, because there's a lot going on in this one. I do like those. There's 5 of those in there. Let's have a look at some of these. This one, oh, the bag, very important. So this is your Nemesis intruder bag. So you'll put all those intruder tokens we saw before in there, and you'll be drawing blind as enemies are brought onto the table. Whew, messy business. All right, let's see. We have got, let's get some of these out so we know who it is that we are talking about, and their sculpts and all the rest. There is so much stuff on this table already. Oh gosh. All right. So we have, this is our friend. This is this the pilot? Yes. And she's been sun-dropped as well. Look at that. Standing on the queue. I love the floor texture, the metal grill. It's so good. And the sun drop, the dark sort of grey overtone for the sun drop is awesome, particularly when the miniature is so small and detailed. There is so much detail that's brought out by that sun dropping technique that these guys have pretty much pioneered, I guess, and you know, made their own. The pilot is just awesome. Then it looks like we have, who have we got here? This is not the mechanic. This is the, no, not the scientist. This is the scout. Again, same grill is just awesome, and she is just, I need to get a little platform so I can spin the thingies around because there's just so much detail. Even the details on the face. Just carrying some serious weaponry. I love it. I love it. I love it. I cannot decide who. I mean, obviously you draft the roles, so you get given whatever is left over. You can't just, you know, pick and choose. This looks like it's a mechanic. I think, is this a mechanic? Yep. Maybe mechanic. Yep. Nope. Who have I got here? This is the mechanic. So this guy here is capable of obviously barricading doors. Got a huge kit bag, which is awesome. I do like the shading as well on the thing from all of his equipment. That's actually painted on, which is just absolutely brilliant. Oh, I cannot wait to get into this. Obviously, you know, it's one thing to be able to go to someone's house and play a game, but to have your own version, it's just so good. All right, we've got a soldier. Now this one means business. Got the full body kit, full body armor, and a serious hand cannon as well. Look at that. I love it. And my army of badasses will protect you. So this is very much more of an Aliens experience with lots more intruders rather than just the one, which I love. And if anyone has played, what's the game? Isolation, which is I played it on the Xbox. This is a scientist who's, you know, Professor X basically. Isolation, oh my gosh, the details on these minis are so awesome, and I haven't even gotten to the good ones yet. Isolation is a first-person game where you play as Ripley's son, Amanda, and you are trying to figure out what happened to her, and you are set upon by a couple of nasty beasties and a couple of nasty AI robots in the Sevastopol station. Definitely worth a look. Very good to play of a nighttime when it is very late and everyone else is asleep and you hear random bumps in the dark. It's, yeah, fantastic. And I believe this is our friend, the Captain here, who is ready to take charge and give orders, and he has got a whole heap of guns and arms and things that he's able to do. Directing traffic, he's got his trusty pistol by his side, very much sort of a Wild West gunslinger dude. The detail is just, I knew it was going to be amazing, but I'm so glad it is worth the wait. All right, now we've got a few of our little friends here. So these guys are our little invaders. These are larvae or lava, and you can even see the detail. Now, sun dropping, they've just basically given them a pigment coat, but they just look spectacular. They've got the same grill. You can identify them very easily. And then we've got here a crawler, and this is where it gets great because the crawler, apart from looking just absolutely absolutely sick. With the sun dropping technique, they've actually painted a blood effect on the tendrils. So you know that they've had a bit of a snack. I just can't do these minis justice. They're just so good. I love this. I love this. So these are the creepers or the crawlers. And then we've got the adults that start to come through. Now this is where it gets really nasty with the adults. It gets even nastier, and I'll show you later on, but then adults in particular, that's where trouble starts to come in. Look at the detail on this thing. I mean, look at it. It's just incredible. You've got red blood on the hands. You've got blood on the tendrils, a tail, like whip-like tail, obviously reminiscent of some other folks that we won't mention for copyright reasons. It's got a dual tail tentacle thingy coming around the side, wrapping around, just doing absolutely... It's amazing. Look at that. It's so good. I love it. There's 2 adults there as well. And that's everything that's in the box. No, I'm kidding. There's more in the box. We're going to pop those ones in there. Those ones in there. We'll come back and put the other bits in too. The first tray is going to pop out. Oh, hello. Here we go. More gel. My gosh. So much gel. So let's take off the cover there. I'm going to have to remember how this all gets packed. Oh, baby. So, cards. These are action decks and things as well. We'll go through the cards first, or should we keep on going? Oh, let's just do it. We've got what looks like some serious soldiers here. Hang on, we've got different sculpts for the minis. So these are adults as well, in a different pose, doing different damage. Oh, it's so good. So good. Oh, I'm just pumped. And again, these guys are, stepping it up. And if you look at these, the height on these versus, see if I get Captain, the difference between these 2 minis. I mean, how is this guy meant to take down this guy? It is doable, obviously, but let's just say the odds are pretty much stacked against you from the outset, especially if, one of your objectives is to kill off another player. And you can see here you've got, extra details on this one as well. So there's a couple of those sculpts there. Another sculpt again. I love this. I love the variety of it. It's so good. So good. Now you've got these ones here. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. It'll pop up on the screen anyway. They're breeders, I think. So they leave like larvae and stuff. And look at that bloody hand. Oh, you just don't want to meet them in a dark alley. Like, you just don't. It's just quiet part of the ship. You hear a muffled bit of noise, and then this jumps out at you with that swipey pose. Messy business. But the one you really don't want to jump out at you, the one that you really just don't want to come across, is this monstrosity, which is, of course, the Queen. Now, bring Captain out again. Captain versus Queen. I know who my money's on, and it ain't Cap, I'm sorry to say. I'll put him there just for reference for later on. The Queen has, look at this, look at it. The detail. And the Maw has blood and gore and everything else. She's got a little lava that she's flinging around at you as well. You've got blood and gore and guts, and it looks like there's more little larvae all the way around here that are coming out of this oozy hole in the ship from underneath. The presence on the table that the Queen has, oh goodness, she means business. And she is like the ultimate boss monster. I love the detail, the flashing, the horns. So good. There's a well here as well for storage. I like the fact they've given you extra space if you decide to sleeve your cards, which is bloody brilliant. Now, I won't go through all the cards because that's not what we're here for. We're here to look at the minis and other bits and pieces. And as I said, we've got a ton of stuff to get through. But I will obviously unpack things and show you a little bit about what it's all about. For those of you who haven't played Nemesis before, you get an action deck which is made up of cards. You can see here it says Captain at the bottom. So there's different cards for the different players, different characters I should say, and obviously you can build your deck out with extra equipment and things as well. It's not a deck builder as such, but you use the cards to pay for other card costs. So this one here, a search action for the scientist, will cost you 0, so you can just discard the card and do the action, not while you're in combat though. The other cards here where it says 1 for the scientist, you need to discard a card from your hand, then discard this card to activate the repair function. Again, not while you're in combat. Obviously, if you do find a symbol that says has the gun on it, it can only be used in combat. And then, of course, you can do ammunition. There's a soldier, decks, there's all sorts. Then you've got contamination cards. Let's give you a demo of what that looks like. Now, the contamination holder, where did I put it? I've obviously put it somewhere very special. Now, the contamination cards, am I infected or not? That's the question. You slot that in there. Insert contamination card here, and you have to look to see if you're infected. So if you look carefully there, I don't know if it's going to come out in the video, but right down the bottom here in a jumble of words, it actually says the word infected. So this card is infected, which means I am now carrying a lava inside my body. That's not good, because that could basically stop you from winning the game. All sorts of contamination cards. Messy, messy business there. And again, a wide variety of outcomes on the game, depending on what your objectives are, what objectives you choose, you're dealt to at the start of the game. And as soon as the first encounter happens and someone encounters an alien, you've got to decide then and there, are you going to fulfill your personal objective, or are you going to go for the company objective, which usually means that someone else on the board or on the table has to suffer imminent, painful, horrible death. So these are event cards here that will relate to how monsters move, what monsters that relates to, different effects that could potentially come up in play. Then we've got here Intruder Attack deck. I'm just going to separate this out as we go. Intruder attacks where you have scratching, and that tells you which of the different alien species or child or groupings does it. If it's this one, the queen will scratch you. This relates to the monster damage, alien damage. So if you're attacking back at them, then you've got some serious wound cards. Now, if you have 3 of these, you are defeated, destroyed, killed, however you want to say it. You are no longer alive. But if you want to, these ones stop you. These ones, cost affect the game in some way. So you might have item actions that are increased by 1. So instead of it costing 2, it's got to cost 3, and so on and so forth. And then we've got more event cards in there as well. Oh my goodness, there is just so much in this one box. We've talked about the minis already. I just want to get into the other stuff as well, which is just awesome. So these are the objectives that we're talking about. There are personal, and there are company objectives, or corporate, I should say. So corporate objectives, player 1's character cannot survive. And then the game just changed. So instead of being cooperative against the intruders, you are out for your own bat. This is a personal objective. The ship must reach Earth, or your character is the only survivor. Primary asset. Destination cards for solo and co-op, if you decide you don't want to play against each other. And then you've got here what looks like, what have we got? This intruder player actions. So if you are unfortunate enough to be eliminated first, where are we? Here we go. You can then take on the mantle of the intruders, taking hold of the intruder aliens and basically kick some butt. So you can direct your minions across the table, direct them to attack the other players. And you know what? It means that if you go down, you can take everybody else with you. And I love that as an option. Then here we have what looks like Android, Bounty Hunters, CEO. I'm not sure. I think it's just extra art cards, which is very cool. I like that. For different extra bits and pieces, just because. Now, I said at the outset, the characters get drafted, so you don't actually get to choose your character off the bat. You will have to shuffle up these, pick a card, and then pass the rest to the other players. So if you're number 1, then obviously you'll be able to choose. So these are the player cards. You'll actually have these face up in front of you just to remind you which player number you are. It doesn't determine player order as such necessarily, but it just basically gives a bit of definition as to what happens in what turn order and so on and so forth. And then we have what looks like the mini cards. These are going to be items, things you can use to fight back against the intruders, all that sort of stuff. And there's more of these in the other boxes as well. More plastic going on the floor. So we've got here items for different rooms, because the different rooms are all color-coded, as you saw earlier. And then you have what looks like specialist actions. So specialist actions if you're the soldier, scout, and so on and so forth. Give you a few extra abilities to try and cause trouble. Intruder weaknesses. There are 3 of these that are drawn at the start of the game. And if you are able to do some lab testing, you can figure out the intruder weaknesses and hopefully they'll become a little bit easier to deal with. Different items you might find: synthetic food, draw 2 action cards from your deck, give you extra opportunities because you can pass, do 2 actions. You can do 2 actions on your turn. If you can only do 1 action or you choose to take no actions, you pass, and that means that you can't do anything else until the next player phase. So sometimes it's beneficial, sometimes it is very much not beneficial. So you have to pick and choose your moments as to when to do that. Sometimes you may pass in order to fulfill a corporate objective, because if you pass, it means you don't have to help another player, and they could wind up getting absolutely smashed or, consumed by an intruder. Here we've got coordinates cards. So these will help the ship, tell the ship where to go. So you can go to Earth, Mars, Venus, or deep space. And you could just launch the ship into deep space. I guess that would help eliminate folks. Item cards, again, and ammunition. Energy charges, so you can recharge energy weapons. Crafted items, so you can actually use different pieces to craft different weapons, different abilities. You can, a classic weapon, you can create a flamethrower, which I love, extra damage. Then you've got another healing items, more weapon items, that sort of stuff. And there's a plethora of those in the game as well. And I think the good thing is, because you're drawing blind, it's just a good way of, keeping everybody on their toes, which I love. And the fact they've allowed space for sleeves, brilliant. I love that. It's amazing. And that is everything that is in the core box. Obviously, we've got lots to get through, so give me a moment, and we're going to have a look at the Aftermath expansion, which adds new character roles, new chaos, and a lot more fun as well. So give me a moment, and we'll get that one set up. Okay, the Aftermath expansion. Now, I don't know too much about this one. I know it's got a few extra bells and whistles in there, extra characters and things too. We're going to get into it. I love the fact that the artwork doesn't show you what's inside the box. So it is a little bit of a mystery, which I kind of like. But of course, it's basically designed to enrich your Nemesis experience. Different options, different playable bits and pieces as well. Now, knowing that we've gone all in on a Sundrop pledge, you're going to see some amazing bits and pieces here. The box is about half of the thickness of the core box. So this is expansion manual that explains all the different elements that are on the board, traits of the character, which game modes you should choose depending on how you want to play. Epilogue mode, research mission modes, player goals, how that all works. And then you've got the different characters. So you've got a convict as opposed to... Sometimes it pays to play the bad guy. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Look, we've had a bit of a ding through this one. I don't know if you can see that there. There's a bit of a slice right through the middle of this the board here. So it looks like I'll be getting onto Awaken Realms about that. That is not very nice. Look, it happens from time to time, but that's okay. That is what it's all about. You've got some little turret tokens there. More rooms, the CEO and the... Well, it's the CEO. He's usually a nasty bastard anyway, so it's probably not a bad thing that he's been damaged. Then you've got here tokens for the psychologist. Then you've got the bounty hunter. Now, he looks like a nasty piece of work, and he has a dog with him as well, which I really like. Extra fire tokens and things as well. And you've got extra boards. So I think, is that an extra room? Is this the Aftermath? So this could be after the fact, when everything, maybe a corporate objective gets completed. There's obviously some story elements there as well. You've got another little character, a cover there, which is fantastic. And then we've got a timer to help time turns, maybe? Who knows? I'm not entirely sure of how this expansion works. We've got a little something under there as well, maybe, or no? Am I confusing myself? We've got extra silica gel. I'm just making sure we don't have any extra bits we're missing. Okay, then we've got the minis. So here we have, who is this one? This is the psychologist. Yes, this is a psychologist. So let's have a look at some sculpts. She's taking notes. Look, she's all about the sash. She's popping that hip. And again, we've got that same textural base, which feels tactile. It feels really, really good. I love that. Okay, psychologist. This is the CEO who's being assisted by a walking robot, which is actually very cool as well. The detail on that's fantastic. I have a feeling if he's on the ship, he ain't getting too far from these aliens. I just don't see it happening. Then we've got here what looks like this is the bounty hunter dude. with his sick-ass gun. It's a little bit, it looks like a little bit droopy, a little bit bendy there. That's probably something we can fix, but the sculpt's still incredibly heavily detailed, which I love. Then we've got here, this could be, is this the convict? Is this the convict, or is this something else? The android? Yeah, this is the convict. He's got his little mask on. Hannibal Lecter, I'm going to call this guy, Hannibal style. A bit muscly as well, serious business, and he's got his hands cuffed together, which is cool. I don't know if you can see that there. He's got his hands stuffed together, which is great. Then we've got the android, who is very much like a Cortana-esque sort of character. That could be interesting. Would probably stop a lot of people from completing objectives that aren't corporate related, which I kind of like. And then you've got the dog for the bounty hunter. Oh, it's stuck a little bit, but I love that. Look at that. Look at him. Look at him. He's got his own little body armor on as well. Oh my goodness. I just want to have him on the board anyway, just in all my other games. That's cool. I love that. And then we've got a 3D miniature that actually represents the first player marker. And it's a cat, a space cat in a space outfit, as you do. Which I don't know, this is actually a bit cute. I thought, I do like the fact too that the cord is keeping him floating. He's actually floating in midair. He's not actually touching part of the cord. It's just a way of supporting the actual mini, which is awesome. And then we have some turret minis that look like they are going to be setting up to cause some serious damage. Boom. I love that. Yep. Again, reminiscent of Aliens. Setting them up. A and B gun. Running out of ammunition. We've got decks of cards in here. And little extra bits and pieces as well. So these are going to be extra cards for these players. Character decks. Maybe some item cards as well. I did not do that very well, folks. My apologies. And then we're going to get into the Void Seeders expansion in just a moment. Otherwise, if you look at the description, you probably see some timestamps. You can probably skip ahead. This is the CEO's deck here. Again, character action decks with lots of crazy actions. Oh, just one more thing. Yeah, that's right. Don't talk, just run. That looks like that warrior robot that's helping him walk is also going to do some damage. You've got the android deck. And then you've got psychologist. I don't see her surviving for some reason. I could be... The bounty hunter is going to do some serious business. He's going to see a lot of table time, and I love that. And then you got the convict as well. I reckon Hannibal, he's Hannibal now, let's be honest. The mask gives it away. Or Bane, Hannibal or Bane, he's going to see some serious playtime as well. And I kind of love that too. Then we've got here, now it looks like there's different traits as well. So you can actually change the style of your character based on, I don't know, just a bit more customization, which I really love. Unlimited ambition as a character trait, synthetic, shrink, Leica, tough, just die already. So there's different traits for all different characters. And then you've got extra, what looks like extra event cards as well. Lucrative offer. Ooh, send the signal and escape with an escape pod with an intruder egg. Wow, so this must be more single player goals, because you can see the player count there. Personal requirements as well, so that changes the game. Epilogue mode, so there's extra time limits based on that smaller board that we talked about. Different alert cards, so these look like different problems, effectively the same as events, but degradation events, alerts that'll alert you to game-ending, potentially game-ending conditions. Different serious wounds, event decks, all sorts of goodies that we want to get our hands on. And these look like they could be just as simple as item cards and things. Nothing too crazy, but obviously beneficial to the different characters that are part of this expansion. I don't know. I'm glad we've got a bigger table now, because to set this up on the table that we used to have is just... it's just not going to... We need the space. Then you've got the starting items for the convicts, different powers that we saw, crafted items... and that's basically all the different extra cards for the newbies that are on board. And that is all there is to it for the Aftermath expansion. It looks like there's a reserve here for the tokens for the extra player counts and things as well, which is awesome. I love that. So I'm just going to do this one for now, just so I know where that goes. Pop that on there like thus. And then we're going to pop all this back in here. And we're going to, obviously, yeah, I'll have to reach out to Awaken and say, hey guys, just so you know, this has happened. And then who knows, maybe when lockdown arrives, they'll have that ready to ship as well. And that is Nemesis, the Aftermath expansion. Let's get into the Void Seeders and we'll see what that shows us. All right. There it is, the Void Seeders expansion. Now, this expansion is not a gameplay expansion per se. This is just an entirely new alien intruder race that you can use in your games, and I'm very excited to see what they bring to the table. You'll need a core box, all that sort of stuff. This is new miniatures and things as well. And the Void Seeders have a whole plethora of other crazy abilities that are going to mess with our surviving crew members, and I do use the term surviving very, very loosely. Let's get into it. I don't know, there's something about these guys and the presence they're going to have on the table. They may get more play than the core Invader crew. We'll see how we go. So this is the Void Seeders. Game elements, different miniatures, how they work and interact, how the gameplay changes for each of the different races, or for this particular race, and then a quick rules summary of how it works as well, which I kind of love. They've got their own Void Seeder board. Oh, looks like those tokens are meant to go in there, but obviously for whatever reason, they have been missed unless... No, there's something different. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I like the Void Seeder boards, a different color as well. All the new tokens, along with a bit of mind control action, which is not super great. That's okay. Don't want to really have mind control when I'm dealing with some aliens. More silica gel, which we get rid of. Ooh, little notches on the actual covering tray, which is cool. I like that. And then we've got... You have to deal with a bit of noise from outside. Hopefully it's not too bad. Oh, a foam insert. Now I like that because if you combine all those decks, remember in the core box, there was that extra space for sleeved cards. If you didn't want to have all the cards in all different boxes, you could literally put all the expansion cards in there as well. Although, why not? Why wouldn't you keep them all in one thing? Let's do the cards first. And the Void Seeder cards, I don't think there's anything relating to characters per se. It's probably going to be more, their different weaknesses, etc. That we saw in the core box. So if I look at these, you've got the Void Seeders help cards so you can understand how they operate. Panic mode. That doesn't sound very good. I'm not looking forward to that. And then you've got Void Seeder attack cards. I love the back of these. That's awesome. And then different events as well. So different decks, because it is a different race of crazy. The Void Seeder attack cards, similar style and structure, brain eating. That is something I do not want. Dread. Bite. Whoa. Even just turning the cards over is going to be scary and terrifying. I love that. Dismay. So those are the different attack cards. Then you've got the panic cards. Now these are pyromaniacs. Place a fire marker in the room you're in if there is none. And there's, again, panic 3+. So there must be a panic track or something along those markers that add some chaos, destruction. Things that cause you to make your situation even worse than it already is, as if they needed any extra help. What have we got here? We've got a little, a pull tag one. I'll go through the events. I should do the events first, shouldn't I? Let me get rid of this bit of plastic first. There we go. We'll go through the events here. Now here we have the events deck. Generator overheating. Yeah, again, more stuff that's going to cause you trouble. Ooh, evacuation pod ejection. So pods eject whether you're on them or not. That's not good. Whispers in the dark. Ooh, I love it. I love it. I want to play this late at night. We've got insanity tracks, different weaknesses. Now, I did say there would be weaknesses in here that relate to the Void Seeders, solid bulkheads, rational thinking, etc. All that sort of business. And then we have the insanity track. So this is different tracks, I think, for different player counts. Is that what I'm thinking? Yes, because there's 5 of them. And it tells you what happens when things move up and down in terms of, larva to creeper to adult, etc. And I think obviously the more panic there is, the more crazy it's going to be. And then we've got the help cards here, which are pretty straightforward. They talk about the intruder bag development, how that all sort of plays out as well, which is awesome, and basically tells you how the bag develops for the different race of aliens, which is very, very cool. I do like that they play very, very differently. So I'll pop those in there. All right, minis. We have here what looks like, I think this is actually an egg shape. It looks a little bit Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors. I am not going to lie. I do love the detail, though. Very cool. And the purple sundrop. I love the purple. It's so good. I'm a purple fan. So is my wife. So maybe we can get Catherine to get a bit of a play with this as well, which is very cool. So those are the larvae. I'm assuming these guys then, the creepers, and they're in there quite a bit. They're jammed in tight. What have we got here? These are the creepers. Now these guys, look at those horns and that's not horns, blades, teeth, claws. Oh my God, and I love the sort of, I don't know, Cthulhu-esque thing on there, and they're sort of just coming along on tentacles. These guys are sick and twisted, and I love that. So good, like a cross between Cthulhu and the original aliens from Alien, the xenomorphs, which I love. All right, we've got here what looks like an extra, I don't know whether that's a king or whether that's a different type of alien altogether, whether that's one of those breeder sculpt, I'm not entirely sure. He means business. He's actually got bits coming out of his side here as well. He's really infesting the ship there with all those tendrils and tentacles and nasty business. Oh my gosh, they're so heavily detailed. I love the base on as well with that same tactile ship experience. The minis are amazing. These might be the adults here on their sort of tendril. Look at the tentacles, the suction cups as well from the tentacles. I love that. We've got some serious claw edge, and it looks like some sort of weird tendrily craziness. It's like the Mind Flayer from D&D. For those of you that are D&D fans, you'll know what I'm talking about. Yeah, love that. And then, of course, they have their own Void Seeder Queen. Now, the Queen doesn't have a base. That's really interesting. Now, the Queen doesn't have a base, but oh my gosh, does she look nasty. I can't even begin to describe the detail on this sucker. And I can potentially say sucker, and I mean that in the most absolutely affectionate of ways. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, Charlotte, we're not going to play this with Charlotte. No way. She'd freak out, well and truly. And I kind of like that. And that's it for Void Seeders. It's pretty straightforward. Not a lot in the box. It's basically just a whole new alien race that you can use on your crazy missions. And I really like it. I really love it. It's bloody fantastic. All right, that's the Void Seeders. We're going to put that back on there. Let's have a look at some of the smaller bits and pieces. No, we're going to go through the terrain. Let's get the terrain box out, and I'll show you what's in that one too. Okay, the boxes are getting smaller now, which means we must be getting close. So this is the terrain expansion, just some 3D elements for the board. Again, it's all about presentation. And look, if you've got people coming around and you're going to spend a good 2 hours playing a game, you want it to be something that you're going to enjoy. And for me, I'm a tactile experience gamer. I do like things that you can pick up and hold and move and use rather than just tokens all the time. So having something that is, you know, a tactile experience, I don't know, it just adds that much more presence. Is it necessary? No, probably not. But if you're going to go hard, if you're going to go for a game like this, you want to go all in. I mean, let's be honest, not everyone can afford it, but at the same time, it just adds so much more. Oh my gosh. Whew. Okay, so if I look at this here, the same plastic covers are there. And then we've got here doors and all sorts of bells and whistles, which I love. We've got here, let's see, we've got doors with holes in them, which is just awesome. And the different doors have different sculpts as well, which is cool. And then we've got, these ones look like they're the escape pods. So you've got an escape pod that is locked and an escape pod that is open. I love that. So cool. And I think that's pretty much all there is to it. I'm just going to check and make sure there's nothing underneath. Oh no, look. We've got dead characters in chairs. Oh, I love it. We've got some corpse tokens here in different positions, and they've all been sun dropped as well, if you haven't already guessed. And they're all different sculpts as well. I love that. I love it. We're just gonna use it all the time. It's gonna be amazing. I love it. I'm just gonna pop that in there. And then what we've got here, we've got what looks like another dead corpse in a different sculpt. And then another one of the same there. Oh my gosh. So good. That's the starting corpse that you uncover at the start of the game. And I love that the sculpts are actually in the form of other characters that exist. So that one's actually like a soldier, which is fantastic. And then these little nest egg character tokens from part of the different elements. So you've got different bells and whistles there as well. They're all the same sculpt. So different nests and other bits and pieces you can use just to change up your display. I love it. Oh, I love it. I love it. So good. Let's pop that one back in there. Again, purely cosmetic, but there's quite a bit of weight to those doors as well. I'm just going to check and make sure there's no extra bits there. They're all same sort of side, closed, open, that sort of thing. Oh my goodness, so good, and worth it with that sun drop as well to match, which is awesome. We're going to have a look at a medic pack, and then we're going to have a look at those cards in the dice tray, and we'll go from there, show you what else is going on. All right, we're getting there, folks. So this one is the Medic Character Pack. It's a very small, lightweight little blister pack, and it's got the character board and everything else in there as well. I think we might even not even need the knife for it, except for cards. I actually really like that. It means you could sort of, buy a hang sell version of the Medic if you really wanted to. Let's see what we've got in here. Extra little character blister, and I don't know how we'll go storing it. I think the boards obviously can go straight into the storage area. That's waste. You've got your medic board there with the deck indicators on the left and right, discard pile, careful movement, same artwork, which is fantastic. And then you've got the little blister here, which I kind of love. It keeps it nice and safe. And the best part about it is not only do you get all the extra cards, but you get another little character definition or character token marker as well, which is awesome. And I think there was a couple of different other characters that were available, but the medic just intrigued the hell out of me. Classic weapon, needle gun, combat drugs, and a one-use only surgery kit. Character drafting cards, which you can use obviously for your games to denote whether or not you even use the medic. Replacement card for the medic expansion draft card. So pick medic for character draft. And then you've got here what looks like some extra action attack cards, an action deck for the medic as well. Extra character draft. So if you're doing expansion modes and modules and things as well, extra medic card here. It's a trait, I believe, for the Aftermath expansion. Then you've got here the character deck for the medic. So search actions, resting, demolition, interruption, repairs, computer skills, ER, not the TV show. And then, of course, we've got our medic here. In a little silicon denoting little character token, and there she is, the medic, and she's got a little injection gun there, and it looks like she's got a little breather mask. Nice little hat. She's packing though. She's packing. So you've got the medical stuff here, but then look down here. You've got some nasty weaponry as well. She would kick your ass. I like that. Medic can hold her own. Med kits and things on her back. So she's a healer, but at what cost? Do some serious damage. Ooh, I like that too. Very cool. We'll pop her back in. Oops, pop her back in there. And then we've got just one last little thing to look at, and that's a couple extra cards. Oh, sorry, two things. I tell a lie. Two things we've got to look at. We've got to look at the extra cards, and we've got to look at what looks like a nice tasty little dice tray as well. So we'll put that back in there. Character boards aside. We've got some bonus cards here. We'll leave the dice tray till last, which I really like the idea of. We've got some extra cards here. And these are literally what looks like... I wonder what these are here. I'll have to check. It'll probably pop up on the screen. So you've got heavy wounds, lava cards, lack of oxygen. These might be community-created cards. Crawl, panic, crawling. Dirty scratches. So this is a whole crawl deck of cards. So this is a new mechanic that must be in the reprint. So you can crawl. If you're not in combat and you pay one card, you can crawl. If there's a technical corridor connected to this room, move to any other room connected to that corridor. So this helps you go through those technical corridors on the map. If you know the game, you know what I'm talking about. and there is different crawls in that deck. So you get different effects depending on which way you go. Lack of oxygen, something in the slime. Wow, I like that. And that's just another element you can add to the base game, just for that immersive experience as you play through and try and survive on board the Nemesis. And then lastly, we have this dice tray, which we've put in for, only because, again, something cosmetic. I just like the idea of having the dice not roll over the table. You've got the board set up, all those awesome minis, and someone chucks the dice in an aggressive way. That pisses me off when that happens. So we've got a dice tray here. There it is. Look at that. So the dice tray here has the dice. It's got the artwork from the main core box here. Nice neoprene side on the back. And when you pin it all together, you've got a nice way to obviously store your dice, and just make sure that they don't run amok across what is a very in-depth tabletop experience. I do like that it's all one thing and it just buttons up all together, and then you've got the dice. You can chuck them in there and they'll get eaten by this guy, which is very unpleasant unless you're trying to kill off this player's character. Then you can chuck them on their head. Very immersive experience. Nice lightweight, nice deep sides. Very simple to the point, and an easy way to have your dice experience. But that is all the different components we've got for Nemesis for you. Obviously, lockdown is on its way out, so in honor of that, that's why we thought we'd go through a Nemesis unboxing for you. We'll come out and give you some final thoughts on this experience, and then we'll talk about what's going to happen moving forward. Oh my goodness. Very excited, as you can tell. That is it for Nemesis. That's everything that's in all these crazy boxes. Core box alone, heaps of content. Adding on the terrain expansions, adding on the void seeders, adding on the aftermath, more characters to choose from, more characters to draft, more aliens to fight, and more bloodshed to be had as we journey through the ship of the Nemesis and trying to survive as best we can. And the best part about Nemesis is, even if you survive right through to the very end and the victory check, you may very well find out you are contaminated, in which case you will explode and have something, break out of your chest in bloody mayhem. There is a lot to this game, and obviously it's still got quite a bit of appeal with lockdown coming out, hopefully in September, COVID and everything else permitting. There is a lot more fun to be had. Lockdown doesn't add too many more different mechanics. It's a different setting, different characters, and obviously the ability to have the lights on or off adds that little extra element of terror to an already fantastic tabletop experience. Look, I'm excited to see get this to the table. We do have a couple of epic game nights coming up, so if you have booked in for one of those, you may very well see this at one of those events. And as things start to open up here in Victoria and the damage is repaired from the storm we've had recently, that was a crazy one, then obviously we'll be able to get out there and showcase all the crazy fun that we have. As always, though, folks, thank you very much to our supporters on our Patreon page. If you want to get on board, get some exclusive rewards, access to early access to content, I should say, and express shipping on all your orders. If you are within Australia, you can hit us up at the address on your screen, www.patreon.com/hpgamingau. Otherwise, if you want to, by all means, pop us a comment in the comments below, or hit us up at orders@hpgaming.com.au if you want to drop us a message as well. At the same time, folks, you can always jump on board the website, hpgaming.com.au, for all of your board gaming essentials and needs and other bits and pieces as well. And true to form, folks, if there's anything that's not on the website, hit us up via one of the other methods I mentioned before, and we'll be able to get it in for you, because we can. We know a guy. Awaken Realms, I'm going to be in touch about that board. A little disappointing that there was a bit of damage, but hey, it happens. It's okay. Lots of other characters to play through. And the CEO, as I said, to be honest, he's probably a dick anyway, so it works. Look, thank you very much for joining me, folks, for another unboxing. We've got lots more content coming your way, and we look forward to seeing you back at the table very, very soon. Until then, though, it is bye for now.